Hi, I'm Robert Cahey, Vice President of Marketing at CPLANE.ai, and today I would like to share with you a demonstration of our flagship product, Multi-Site Manager. Multi-Site Manager is a software platform that delivers scalable multi-site OpenStack cloud orchestration. These clouds can scale from large, global, multi-tenant cloud centers with thousands of virtual machines to network edge solutions for NFV, or highly distributed edge clouds that enable mobile edge applications and thousands of IoT endpoints. Multi-Site Manager provides fully integrated software-defined networking that creates high-performance virtual overlay networks with gateway services that include floating IP with bandwidth quotas to manage throughput for external network connections to public and private clouds. It also provides complete WAN automation and provisioning with features such as discovery, traffic engineering, path coloring, admission control, and secure Layer 2 and Layer 3 VPNs. And it does all of this through open, service-based APIs for easy integration with your existing operational and business support systems. Before we see MSM in action, let's take a quick look at the configuration of our demo. We'll be using two sites, Palo Alto and Frankfurt, each of which supports OpenStack Cloud pods built on top of Canonical's Ubuntu operating system. Each pod uses our overlay gateway router to provide connectivity to the WAN, which connects the distributed sites. MSM is connected to our MSM portal, which will provide the service interface for this demo. Now let's take a look at Multi-Site Manager in action. The first thing we'll do is create a new customer, and we'll call this customer NewCo, and we'll leave the service level parameters and the configuration parameters set as they are. So we've created this customer context, and it'll be used across both OpenStack sites, Palo Alto and Frankfurt. So let's go ahead and create those sites. So we'll select Palo Alto, and now we're going to create the subnet and gateway definitions for both sites. So first, we'll create the default backbone subnet for Palo Alto, and then we'll specify our overlay gateway router, which will give us public cloud connectivity. Now we'll create a subnet for our internal resources so the VMs can communicate with each other. And then we'll create a subnet for our floating IP network, and we'll give it a range of IP addresses to use for the virtual machines. And now we'll do the same thing for Frankfurt. Our backbone, gateway, internal, our floating IP subnet, and once again, the range. So now the service requests have been made to MSM, and MSM is creating these two sites for our customer, and at the same time is communicating with the OpenStack instances to build the OpenStack sites for both Palo Alto and for Frankfurt. And in just a second, you'll see those sites become active as they are initialized inside of OpenStack. You'll see that we've also created the default subnets for each of the sites, our internal and floating IP subnets, our backbone subnets, and we've also created the overlay gateway routers, which are virtualized network functions, which will provide the connectivity to our public clouds. So now we have our two sites up and active. We have the default configuration for our networks. Now let's add an external site, and we'll call this site AWS. We simply have to provide it with an AS number and a default IP range. So we'll use 10.0.0/24, and we'll give it a gateway address of 10.22.0.1. And let's go ahead and add another range for AWS. So we'll call it 10.22.1.0/24. And again, we'll give it a gateway address. What we're doing now is creating the context for that external public cloud, so you can see the information that we provided with respect to the IP ranges and gateways. Let's create another one, and this one will be Azure. Again, we give it an AS number and then an IP range. And a gateway. And we now have the external definition for Azure. So now let's connect these sites to our OpenStack sites. So first, let's connect Palo Alto, and we'll connect it to AWS, and we'll use the first IP range. Let's connect Frankfurt to AWS, and we'll use the second IP range. And now let's connect Palo Alto to Azure, and we'll use the IP range for it. So now Multi-Site Manager has created the route associations between our overlay gateway routers and the external sites using the subnets that we provided. So now let's add some virtual machines to our OpenStack sites. So the first thing we'll do is we'll select an image and a flavor, and we'll add one virtual machine, and we'll connect it to the backbone and to the floating IP network, and we'll give it a quota of 5 megabits per second. And now let's add a second one. Again, we'll use the image and the flavor. This one will simply be connected to the backbone. And now for Frankfurt, let's add 2 VMs. And we'll connect those 2 VMs to both the backbone and to the floating IP, and we'll give this one a 10 megabits per second bandwidth quota. And so now you'll see that we are actually creating the VMs. The requests have gone from our user interface to MSM, and MSM has issued the request to the 2 OpenStack sites to create the virtual machines. And as you can see, in our first virtual machine, we connected it to both the backbone network and to the internal network. The second machine was connected to the backbone network, the internal network, and the floating IP network. And you can see the quota of 5 megabits per second that we gave this machine. Same thing for Frankfurt. We have the 2 machines. Both machines were connected to the backbone network. Both machines were connected to the floating IP network, and we gave them a quota of 10 megabits per second. MSM gives you the capability to completely control the virtual machine, so you can start, stop, reboot, delete, and actually access the console to issue commands. So let's go ahead and stop this virtual machine, and you'll see its state change from green to red, which indicates that we've actually stopped that virtual machine. And let's go down and delete this machine since we'll no longer need it. So we'll go ahead and issue the delete command for it. And you will see it removed from the canvas shortly. And now let's go back and restart the machine we stopped earlier. So as you can see, you have complete control over the virtual machine resources that you create in each of the sites. One last thing I would like to point out is the API calls that were made during the demonstration. These open APIs allow you to completely control all aspects of the creation and management of a cloud environment for a customer. The APIs are RESTful, so it's very easy to integrate Multi-Site Manager with your northbound orchestration solution to enable full lifecycle management for your cloud services. I would like to thank you for taking the time to let me share the features of CPLANE's Multi-Site Manager. As you have seen, MSM removes the complexity of deploying distributed clouds across multiple locations, whether it be a few large cloud centers or thousands of edge clouds to support IoT endpoints, all with complete control of virtualized resources which are easily connected through our fully integrated virtual overlay networking and WAN automation and provisioning. With MSM, you have full service lifecycle management to maximize operational and business performance, improve resource utilization, and reduce costs.